morning, everyone. Incoming UE Pelicans of the UE St. Augustine Campus. Welcome to session 3 of Smart Start, our weekly virtual workshop series designed to meet your informational needs as part of our campus's first year experience program, proudly brought to you by the Division of Student Services and Development, the DSSD. I'm Jarrell Alder, Manager of Student Engagement, and today, as always, I am joined by members of my team at the Student Engagement Department, along with colleagues who are serving today as guest facilitators from both faculty and the DSSD. And together we will guide you through today what I trust would be yet another insightful and yet another enjoyable learning session. So for those of you who were here with us for our last 2 Smart Start sessions, we say welcome back and thank you for the continued engagement and valuable feedback that you provide. And to those of you who are new here and joining us for the very first time, we say an extra special welcome to you. We are truly honored that you have chosen us at the UE St. Augustine Campus for your university experience. And through our campus's first year experience program, or FYE, which you would soon come to know it as, we are indeed committed to ensuring that you transition successfully to your first year of study with us and beyond. So I want to pause here. I want to ask you to just let us know in the chat which faculty you'll be starting with or from this morning, this year, as we embark on this new academic year. Just let us know which faculty you will be pursuing your program with. We'll be very, very happy to hear this feedback. Of course, last year we got a sense of the different countries that you are coming from. So this morning, we'll definitely want to hear which faculty you'll be joining, and feel free as well to let us know which program you may be pursuing as well this year. So at our last Smart Start session, we introduced you to registration, what it means for you as an incoming student, and the 7 steps involved in this process. So if you missed the session or would just like a recap of the information shared, here's a gentle reminder that this video recording is available on our FY YouTube channel for you to view at your convenience. In today's session, we will explore financial planning basics for university life. We will discuss with you financial priorities as a first-year student, the importance of early budgeting and financial planning, and the scholarship and bursary opportunities available to you through the DSSD's Financial Advisory Services Department. So as you can tell, there is much to absorb in today's session, valuable insights and information that will help you with your preparation and your confidence as you begin your first year of university with us in just a few weeks. Now, you want to be sure to have your writing material to take notes today. We encourage you also to be attentive in the session, ask questions at the appropriate time, and also, like I say every week, breathe and trust that by participating in FYE, you are definitely on the right path of attaining success in your first year of study with us at the UE St. Augustine Campus. So now that I've shared and outlined on what you can expect today, it is my pleasure to invite our first facilitator in today's session. He is an esteemed academic and lecturer in the Department of Economics within our campus's Faculty of Social Sciences. Joining you today to help you in understanding your financial responsibilities and building your student budget, please help me welcome Dr. Ricardo Lalu. Dr. Lalu, over to you.
Great. Good day to all of you new students. Welcome to the University of the West Indies. Today, I'll just be doing a very quick presentation on understanding your financial responsibilities, building your student budget, right? And my name is Ricardo Lalu, as was mentioned. I'm a lecturer at the Department of Economics, right? So what we'll be discussing today, your financial responsibilities, common financial challenges, why plan early, budgeting principles, creating a budget, some tips, and at the end, we'll just summarize with some key takeaways, right? So, do any of these statements describe you? I know approximately how much my degree will cost from start to finish. I know where the money to pay for my degree will come from. I know how much financial support or income I have available to complete my degree. I have a plan for managing my expenses while at the university. If that describes you, let's say put a yes in the chat. If not, put a no in the chat. A lot of yeses, some no's. Wow. Okay, so then this session should definitely uh help you somewhat, but you will kind of reinforce what probably you know, right? Okay, so moving on, your financial responsibilities, tuition and fees, right? Obviously, some of you will be Gates sponsored, some of you will not be Gates sponsored. In addition to that, you'll also have fees that go along with your tuition, compulsory fees such as registration fees, guild fees, etc. Um, Books and supplies, of course. You'll have books. You'll also have supplies, pens, papers, pens, workbooks, notebooks, calculators. Some of you may have lab supplies like lab coats, etc. Right. So these are some of these financial responsibilities that you will have. Some of you will have transportation costs coming. You may be traveling, or if you're driving, you may have to pay for things like gas or maintenance of a vehicle. Food and housing, of course. If uh, you're renting near campus, you're gonna have to pay rent. You're gonna have to pay other things. You're gonna probably have to buy your own food. Some of you may, even if you're not renting near campus, you may still have to purchase food on a daily basis. Right? If you're coming to campus, you may have to buy food. Right? Phone and internet, of course, we can't live without the phone and internet in this day and age. So that's also going to be a cost that you might have to bear. Phones are essential. Internet is essential, right? Obviously, if the university has internet as well, but you may need it at home. Right, and then you may have personal expenses, which would change from person to person, right? So some common financial challenges that you may face as a university student, especially a first year student: limited or irregular income, right? So you may not have, a regular income or a regular source of income, or you may have limited income and you may need to somehow increase the income that you have, right? You may have unexpected expenses. For example, so these are things that you can't really plan for. For example, you may have a laptop that you need for school, and then all of a sudden, let's say, one day there's some issue with it and you're going to have repair that laptop, right? So that is something that you probably wasn't planning for, right? Peer pressure and social spending. We have a lot of friends. We like to follow our friends, right? Maybe my friends want to line or hang out each week, right? I want to go to a party each week. I want to go to this restaurant each week, and I end up spending more than I cater for, right? Or more than I have. And then, of course, the big one: improper planning slash budgeting, right? If I don't have a proper plan or proper budget and I just spend whatever, whenever, I could end up in a lot of financial difficulties lower down the road, right? So why plan early? It reduces your stress, right? So you don't have to worry where your income is coming from. You don't have to worry, can I afford, to pay my tuition? Can I afford to pay my fees? Can I afford to buy food every week? And then you also have, and that's an added stress along with, the stress of studying as well and doing on your education. You're going to be able to build good financial habits for the future, right? Uh, After this, university is just a short stint in your life. After you finish university, you're going to go out in the real world, you're going to have a job, and you're going to have other financial responsibilities additional to the ones that we probably discussed today, right? And you have to be able to, plan it properly. You don't want to end up in difficulties when you go out in the real world, right? Prepare for emergencies. We kind of discussed that as well, right? Those are things that you cannot completely plan for, but you could try to mitigate the issues or the financial burden that emergencies might bring up. Obviously, you want this is a big one, and this is big for you right now. You want to reduce the risk of financial interruptions to your studies, right? You don't want to reach a case and or a situation where you don't have the money to continue your studies and you end up leaving university or dropping out, right? That's probably the university doesn't want that for you. Your departments, your faculties, your lecturers, your parents, whoever it is, right? They don't want that for you, right? So that's one of the probably the main reason you want to plan early and don't end up in these financial difficulties. Some budgeting principles. Know your income. What are your sources of income? Do you have family support, parents, grandparents, spousal support? Do you have a part-time job or full-time job, and that's going to supplement some of your income, right? You want to be able to track your expenses. What are your expenses? Everybody has different expenses. Some of them are going to be common to everybody. Everybody needs food, but some expenses you're going to have that are going to be specific to you, right? And you want to be able to track that, let's say on a daily basis or weekly basis, right? Separate your needs from your wants, right? What do you need and what do you want, right? Right. I need food, but I want, that new phone, right, or that new whatever um, technological advancement that's big in that all my friends have right now, right? Save regularly, right? Saving regularly will help you in situations in the future where you have those emergencies that may come up, right? Or you have spending that or things in the future that you really need to or want. All right, saving will allow you to reach those financial goals probably, or those personal goals that you may want to reach, right? Right. Review often. Costs change, expenses change, food prices change from week to week. Income might change over time, right? Maybe you had this amount of financial support from your family before this semester, and then next semester is not the same amount, right? So you want to review often and make adjustments to your budget as you go along, right? So some steps in creating a budget. List your income, right? List what income you have, right? I would suggest that if you have financial support from your family, you discuss with them how much financial support they actually can give you, right? How much income do you have from your job, right? Um, Record what is called your fixed expenses, right? These are constant and non-changing expenses. These things you would know from beforehand, right? So you would know your rent from beforehand. If you have rent, you know your tuition, know your compulsory fees beforehand, right? Those things wouldn't change, right? These are easier to budget for. What you would have a little bit more difficulty budgeting for is your variable expenses, right? So it says here, estimate your variable expenses, right? These things change over time, right? So your food cost this week mightn't be the same as your food cost next week, right? Because prices change, right? Your basket of goods that you consume this week may be different from the basket of goods you consume next week, right? Or what you what your food that you eat this week, you probably don't want to eat the same thing next week, right? So that might change over time. Probably the best thing to do is start off small, go to the grocery, for example. Uh, have an idea, plan your meals for the week if it is that you're cooking, right? Before you even start budgeting, see what things cost, right? And get a weekly idea of what you may be spending in a week with respect to, let's say, food or any other variable expense that you may have, right? Set a savings goal. Obviously, you want to say how much you might be able to save, right? And that would, again, as I said, help you in the future for different things, right? Monitor and adjust, right? Obviously, my food price, if I spend 800, I plan to spend $800 in food this week, I end up spending $1,000 in food this week. Next week, I'm going to have to adjust, or I should adjust my budget to take into consideration that, right? I need to probably allocate a little bit more to food, maybe a little less to entertainment, right? Or other items where I could probably cut costs if possible, right? Right. Um, what else? This is a kind of a sample budget, very simple sample budget, right? We could let's say this is first semester. We have our income here, our family support that what our family is providing to us, one of our part-time job if we have one, what that's providing to us. So altogether, that's about $6,000, right, for the semester, right? Then I have my expenses. I have list the expenses that let's say are going to be applicable to me, right? I have tuition, right? I have food costs, right? Transportation costs, etc. All right, I have put aside some for emergency funds. I have my estimated personal expenses. Right, so altogether, I have 6,000 income and $5,500 in expense. That means I could save how much? About $500. Right? Yeah. Right. So that means I have that to save. That could go towards um, any emergencies that may come up in the future, or anything else that I may be planning to buy something like maybe planning to buy a new phone or something like that. That could go towards that, or any other financial goals that you may have. Right. So very simple. Everybody's budget might change. Everyone's budget will be slightly different. You may not have transportation costs because you rent near campus. You may have rental costs, right? Instead, and you adjust it to suit what you have and what your expenses are, right? Okay. So some tips for managing income and expenses, very not comprehensive at all. Prioritize your essentials, right? What do you need versus what do you want, right? And whatever you once you budget for your essentials, then whatever you have left over, maybe some of it could go towards some of your wants, right? Not to say that you can't hang out with your friends every week, or you probably can't hang out with them every day or go out every day, right? You have to, know how much you can spend and limit it, limit to your essentials, or limit how much you spend on, things that are not really needs but rather wants, right? Limit impulse purchases, right? Those are things that just you see it and you want it, right? Maybe you try as much as possible to limit those impulse purchases. So once you have that budget, maybe you know how much extra you have to spend, right? And you try to stay within your budget as much as possible, right? Another thing, use student discounts. I believe the university, as a university student, you have access to a lot of discounts. You could search for them online. Some places may actually advertise those things directly, right? So if you have those discounts, then it's very good, to take advantage of them while you're a university student, right? Because they wouldn't exist afterwards, right? Compare prices and look for sales, right? So compare prices, right? If you go to one grocery and you go to another grocery, the prices that you pay for, let's say, for bread might be different, right? One may have bread for $10, and one may have for $8, right? So shop around and compare prices as much as possible, and look for sales. A lot of places have sales going on, right? Not to plug any place, right? But if you ever went on Massey's website, almost every week Massey has a different sale, right? And look to see where the sales are that week, or whenever, and that will help you to cut down your costs. So maybe I plan to spend $1,000 in food this week, and with these cost cutting, I'm able to spend, let's say, $800. So I have $200 extra that could go towards my savings, right? Or to other items that I want to spend, or want to spend more on, but I couldn't because I already budgeted a certain amount. Build that emergency fund, of course. That's going to help you for all those rainy days, right? Understand the financial support available to you, right? So as I said, have a discussion with your parents or whoever it is providing some of that financial support. Have a look at where your how much money you're looking, or your job is providing for you, and perhaps also I would say look at what is available elsewhere, like the university. And somebody from the DSSD is going to, I believe, talk to you a little bit about some of the financial support that the university can provide to you, right? Look for opportunities to increase income or reduce costs, right? So maybe there are different avenues that you could probably get a little bit more extra income, right? Maybe there's this one-off job that's this one day, right? And somebody will pay you a certain amount of money, and you get there's a little bit extra that you wasn't planning for, which would help you and cover some of your costs, or you could go towards different items, right? Or you could save it for the future, right? Or find ways to reduce costs, right? I'll give you one example that I think might work for some of you, right? That's very specific to being a university student. Is transportation costs, right? You may think that you have to come to UWI every day. Let's say you're traveling and your transportation cost is, let's say, $20 or $40 a day. right? So you're thinking that maybe you have to come 5 days a week, so every day you're gonna have to spend $40 in transportation, especially if you're coming from very far away. If you look at your schedule, sometimes there are multiple classes, right, that are available. So especially in level one. So there maybe there are for my particular course there are two lectures, right? There are two lecture sessions, if you know what a lecture session is, right? And maybe I could schedule my classes in such a way that I could come to campus 3 days for the week rather than five. That's going to cut some of my course, right? So you could look and once you know exactly what your expenses are, look to see if you could find innovative ways to perhaps reduce your cost or increase your income, right? So this is very short, I believe, very quick, easy things that you could probably do, and the whole presentation, I hope, was very straightforward, right? So some of the key takeaways would be to spend with a plan, save consistently, right? Review your budget often, and all these small habits, whatever small adjustments you can make, right, could perhaps create long-term success, right? So with that, I would say thank you, welcome, and any questions that you may have for me, right? You could probably entertain them now.
Thank you so very much, Miss Dr. Lalu. And students, if it is that we can show some love in the chat to Dr. Lalu, breaking it down for you. I mean, I don't think it could get any simpler than that. Dr. Lalu, thanks so much for taking this time to share with our students. We will definitely field some questions, so now is a good time. If persons have any questions relative to what Dr. Lalu shared, now is a good time. So Dr. Lalu, I am seeing a request here for you to
Yes.
go back to
Let
slides
me
3 and 4 so that
Yes,
persons can
first
take
up.
some photos. Maybe you could even discuss it as well.
Let's go back. Yeah, right, great. So yeah, again, you're gonna have these financial responsibilities when you start. I believe you're gonna when you get your course outlines and you see what is required from you, you know, you'll see what exactly is going to be required. Um, some things here, I think you could probably cut costs if it's possible. Whatever it is, as I said, the transportation one. These some things you're gonna know upfront, like your tuition and fees, and that's gonna change from person to person, right? So let me just go to the next one. So here, okay, right. So these would be the common financial challenges. As I said, some of these are common, but maybe there are challenges that I can't think of that may also be applicable to you, right? Somebody said live on pack soup. I think you could learn how to cook. Maybe you might be able to cook something better than pack soup, right? But yeah, so I think we have other questions.
So Dr. Lalu, there's a question in the
Yeah.
chat. It's asking, well, the question is, what's the best way to actually manage funds on a day-to-day basis to ensure you stick within your budget? Our incoming student is saying that he uses a spreadsheet and an app that a friend told him about, but it can be a bit tedious. So he's really asking for some tips from you on how to actually manage funds on a day-to-day basis to ensure that a student can stick within their budget.
Okay. Again, I don't know the app, but maybe the app is if the app is too tedious, I think best thing to do is keep it simple, right? If that Excel spreadsheet is easier for you to understand, easier for you to manipulate, then I would go with that. The other thing is if you're looking at day to day, that's probably the best way to look at things. I think every day you could review and see, hey, I spent this amount this today. Where could I have cut costs? Where could I increase income or things like that? I mean, increasing income is a little bit difficult. It's a more long-term plan, but where can I cut costs is something that you could definitely think short term, right? But yeah, I would go with which one ever you decide is the easiest one for you to understand. You don't want to overcomplicate things.
Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Lalu. And of course, students, if it is that you have any questions, you can feel free to share, but also know that we will be making the presentation material available to you. So, Dr. Lalu, you shared some really, really useful tips that I think, I'd like to reinforce for students as well. At the very start, you made the connection between finances and stress, and I'm hoping that students can really understand that as and it can be a source of stress. And based on what Dr. Lalu shared with you this morning, it's sort of helping you to plan ahead so that you can minimize the possibility of you running into any sort of stressful situations. Dr. Lalu also mentioned limit impulse purchases, and I'll tell you that that is also a very big one. You will be coming in with friends, you'll be meeting friends here, and there will be fear of missing out or FOMO, as we say, right? So you would think that, you have to be in the crowd and, things will just happen and it's likely to make some impulsive decisions. But that can lead to some issues that you don't want to have later on. All right. Dr. Lalu shared about a savings goal, which I think is a very important thing that you want to take away as well today. Simple things like comparing prices is also something that he shared. Ensuring that you have a budget. Do not think that life just happens at university. It's something that you have to plan for. And the final thing I'll highlight that Dr. Lalu mentioned is an emergency fund. Let me tell you, there are rainy days. There will be rainy days. There's no question about that. But what we want you to do is to be prepared to navigate those rainy days, not to be afraid of them, but to be equipped to navigate them. So again, we want to say thank you so very much, Dr. Lalu, for sharing these insights with us, for breaking it down in such a simple and digestible way that I think would really help students. And of course, the presentation material will be made available. All right. So if it is that you're in the Department of Economics, you might run into Dr. Lalu. He may be one of your lecturers at some point. All right. So Dr. Lalu, any final words before you head off to your next commitment?
Thanks for allowing me to present. I think this was very, very. It sounds like it was very useful. I'll put my email in the chat if anybody has further questions that they didn't want to share in the out with everybody in front of everybody. Okay. All right. So thank you. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Lalu. Thank you very, very much. All right. Doing a quick pulse check. My favorite thing to do. Are we good? Everybody, we're all right? It's my absolute pleasure to invite our next facilitator. She is from the Division of Student Services and Development. She is the manager of the Financial Advisory Services Department. And once you get here, I'm pretty sure that you will meet her. Very, very happy to have you with us this morning. Please help me welcome Miss Christy Mannett-Smith, who will discuss with you this morning scholarships, bursaries, and everything that you need to know about the Financial Advisory Services Department. So, Ms. Smith, I'm handing over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alda and team. And a special good morning, of course, to all our participants, our incoming students for the 2026-27 academic year. It's always a pleasure to be here. And this as our initial touch point with you. I hope that it gives you the information you need to transition into our first semester in August, September. I also want to say that I myself took some notes from Dr. Lalu's from Dr. Lalu's presentation. So really happy to be part of it. And so today I'm going to share with you the financial aid opportunities available through the Division of Student Services and Development, specifically through the Financial Advisory Services Department at the University St. Augustine Campus. Yes. So let me just first start by saying that you need to walk around the campus when you get here. Some of you may be familiar with the building that you're seeing on the screen. That is the Lloyd Braffett building, and that's where you would spend a lot of your time, particularly if you're coming in to speak to the admissions team and, of course, the student account section of the bursary which is on the ground floor, and the DSSD and the Financial Advisory Services, you can find us on the first floor of this building. So maybe a thumbs up for those of you who are familiar with this building, because we would love to see you. So in essence, what do? We provide financial aid, financial advice, and financial assistance to students coming in, all levels of students, from certificate programs, N1 programs, bachelor degrees, postgraduate, including masters, MPhils, and PhD programs. So that's the range of support we provide based on our resources. Let's take a closer look. So Dr. Lalu would have spoken to you about accessing funding support for your degree. Most of you here may be accessing GATE, the Government Assistance Program. And in addition to GATE, some of you may have also qualified for national scholarships, national bursaries. But here at the St. Augustine campus, we do have scholarships and bursaries that are privately funded, which you can access, as well as other financial aid programs to help you along your journey. In addition to this, as you may know, we are a regional university, and we have support as well from our UE headquarters, who procure funding through scholarships for students across all the campuses. And of course, St. Augustine campus students usually benefit from these opportunities as well. And so I'll tell you more about that. Let's talk a bit first about the scholarships and bursaries. Now, as I mentioned, it's privately funded, right? And we have over 350 scholarships and bursaries available to our undergraduate students. So if you're doing a bachelor's degree at undergraduate level, this opportunity is for you. It's available to all full-time students, so you must be full-time registered. It does not affect your GATE funding. So this is the most beautiful, one of the beautiful things about our awards. You can have GATE and you can also hold our award. We have a relationship with the GATE office, the help office, where we have a particular clause that we have designed in our letter, so that if you are indeed given this opportunity, your letter would indicate that it's a non-tuition based award. What does that mean? It means that the money is basically yours. It's not mandatory that you use these funds to pay your tuition, but you may. And so when the GATE office sees that in your letter, they are then advised that this type of award would not affect your means rate testing. Okay, so that's we're already up on a plus side of accessing these awards. Most of the awards are based on financial needs. So this is one way your financial challenges can actually work for you. If you are experiencing some sort of financial challenge in the home, mommy, daddy, guardian, not employed, a single parent family, medical conditions in the family, all of these impact the finances in the home. And this is what we would use to assess your ability to access these particular scholarships and bursaries. So it's just imagine using your financial circumstances to access funding to support you during your journey. And so, of course, we are an academic institution, and we do have a grade point average requirement. When you get into the system, you would learn all about this term GPA. It's called it means grade point average, and it's a weighting that's assigned to your grades, so that for us, a grade point average of a 3.0, which is basically a B average, will allow you access to our awards. And so some of our donors, we work very closely with them because they understand that there are socioeconomic challenges that may impact your ability to progress academically. And so some of them even consider a lower grade point average. That would mean you get some Bs, you get some C, 1 or 2 Cs, 1 or 2 As. So it's a combination, but it doesn't totally exempt you from accessing a scholarship or bursary. In other words, many of them, about 98% of the awards, are based on need. What is the minimum amount you can receive? The minimum for our scholarship and bursary is $5,000 TT dollars for an academic year. And the maximum thus far is $30,000 TT dollars, which is about 4,400 US dollars. And that would be for the academic year. Some of our awards are continuous in that If you maintain your GPA, the next year it will be renewed. But many of them are one time. So if you get it this year, you could apply next year. You may get the same one, you may get a different one. And so we always invite students to just keep applying every year, keep applying whether you got one or not, because the pool often changes, the pool of students, the pool of applicants. Some of our awards also have paid internships. So Yara Trinidad, First Citizens, Scotiabank, some of these agencies actually offer paid internships once you are a recipient of their scholarship or bursary. And applications are online. We do have a scholarship and bursary booklet on our webpage, which you can check out and get some better ideas on all the criteria for each award. It varies from donor to donor, so it gives you access based on their criteria. And so a question we normally get is, what can $5,000 do for me? And Dr. Lalu referenced the key things, and I saw in the poll as well, some of the areas that this $5,000 can support you came up. So we're looking at food, transportation, access to equipment. How many of you here are part of the Faculty of Medical Sciences? Anyone? Right. If you are part of the Faculty of Medical Sciences, you have to start preparing. If you're doing dentistry, start preparing to purchase a dental kit. In the second year of your program, you'd have to purchase that, all dentistry students. If you are in the medical sciences faculty and you're doing the MBBS, you have things like your stethoscope. For other students, you may have to go on field trips. You may have to, for students in the food and agriculture faculty, you may have to go on field trips. You may need funding to do that. And for others, you will have project-based reports that you would need funding to support, either whether it's technology, those of you doing computer science, you need a proper laptop. So you get the idea, right? You get the idea. I don't need to go on and on, but this is how your $5,000 can work for you, especially those coming from rural areas. What do our donors look for? So, of course, we spoke about academic merit, financial need. Some of our donors want to see that you're involved. So those of you who are already involved in clubs, associations, maybe you would have been involved in Rotaract. Some of you would have been involved in activities at sixth form or in the pre-science, pre-university programs, the N1 programs. You may have joined a club here on campus. This becomes very important depending on the donor and if they require any kind of extracurricular involvement, co-curricular involvement, and leadership skills. We also want to encourage our student athletes, and we just came out of UE Games, because we also have specific awards for student athletes. So if you're part of an authentic club, and this is not recreational swimming in your neighbor's pool, right? This is you're actually swimming competitively, you're part of a club, you're running, you're part of an athletic club, etc. Yes, you're laughing. I'm very serious. So once you're part of a club, there will be documentation for you to complete, and this would give you access to our funding support for student athletes as well. Some of our donors look for whether you're part of their schools. So for instance, Holy Name Convent, we have an award from them. If you went to Holy Name Convent, Port of Spain, you may be able to access this award. Some of you may be involved in the Association of Professional Engineers. They are also donors of scholarships and bursaries. If you live in a particular area, some donors are very specific about that. So all this to say, that if there's a range of criteria that may allow you access based on your particular circumstances. And so the next question is, how do I apply? So the first thing you need to do is visit our website, and you can scan the QR code to get onto the website, or you can just go onto the UWI's main page and type in scholarships and bursaries or scholarships, and it will route you to our page. What is important here is that you are submitting one application, uno application. Somebody could say what application is in Spanish, but one application to be considered for the range of awards that's available to you. Yeah, one application. We will look through all the data and align you with the criteria that best meets the donor's needs. The second step is that you complete and submit your supporting documents. Now, we are a financial aid department, and so documentation and evidence-based approach to assessment is very important to us in terms of compliance and due diligence. So we want to really encourage you, when you go on the platform, there's a section called supporting documents, and you see this red circle I have around the word income and expenditure form notarized. That's one of the most critical forms, because that form allows us to assess your level of need. It looks at your income, we look at your expenditure, and very important, on the 6th or 7th page of that document is a space for you to actually give us a narrative. Tell us what's going on with you. Get as detailed as possible, because we do, in fact, factor that into our assessment to determine your eligibility and level of need, etc. Especially since 98% of our awards are based on financial need. This form is basically the only form that allows us to really assess you and give you the opportunity you deserve to be funded. In addition, you'll have the extracurricular form for those of you who are involved in churches, mosques, any kind of religious organization. You can support that with documentation to show us that you've been involved. If you're involved in community service, that's another area. If you are into entrepreneurial activities, you can also provide us with that information, because we do consider that, particularly coming out of COVID, many of you became entrepreneurs. And of course, for the student athletes, the sporting activity form. Some of the evidence we need: job letter, pension payment slip, your electricity bills, certified job letters for those, and certified letters for those of you whose parents may be self-employed or guardians. For those of you who may be getting support from persons who are in the community who are gifting you stuff, we also need a letter from them. And I'm saying this because we need the verifiable evidence to allow you the opportunity to get this funding. And the third and final step is you submit your application during the period August 25th to September 30th. So for you, our incoming students, this academic year, your application period is from the 25th of August to the 30th of September. Our meeting is held in October, and so we would notify you coming down to the end of October into November. So what we tell students, because this particular scholarship and bursary program meets in October to deliberate and select, you can adequately prepare for this funding for semester 2. I'm not saying it wouldn't come in semester 1, but really, to be reasonable enough, we tell students, prepare to hear from us and receive the funding to support your semester 2 period. All right. If we have any continuing students on the call, your application period would run from January to May. So for incoming students, you may have to submit, you will submit in September, but if you want to reapply again, you do so, you just send in an application again to us in May, but we'll talk more about that later on. In addition to the scholarships and bursaries, we have other financial aid programs that you can access during the course of the semester. And let's start with the Adopt a Student program. This is available to full-time students registered in undergraduate programs. This particular program offers you a $400 stipend monthly. Of course, it's based on financial need. You will have to send in an online application to be assessed. And once we place you on the program and you submit your banking information, we can send these funds to you at the end of every month. It provides funds for exactly what we've been talking about: day-to-day expenses, meals, transport, devices, stationery, etc. And I usually can't close this program off without talking about how it's supported. This particular program is supported through the voluntary contributions from staff at the UWI St. Augustine Campus via their monthly salary. They make a contribution to support students in need. So, just to say that, beyond the scholarships and bursaries and other, we do have our staff who's, reaching out and helping as well. So thank you to them. The next, and thank you for loving that comment as well. The next program is the Hardship Grant Fund. Now, this particular fund is available to all levels of students. It's usually a one-time grant. It's non-repayable, as all of our awards. You don't have to pay us back. It offers a maximum of $5,000 TT to eligible applicants. Let's say you experience a crisis in the family, a medical situation you're facing. You have a shortfall to pay for your funds. You're expecting money. It's not coming on time for your tuition. Something has changed in the family dynamics that's now impacting the ability to service your degree, transport, food, that sort of thing. This is where this particular grant comes in. And the application period is across the entire semester up to the point of a week or two before your examinations. So it's open to all levels, from N1 certificate straight up to PhD. And of course, these funds are also routed to your account. And for every program we have, you must submit an application. We also have some alumni who have contributed towards the Freedom Hall Network Group, Dr. Keith Archibald Benevolent Fund. It's just about $1,500, but that really does fill a gap in times where it's needed. It's open to students from the St. Augustine campus who experience financial challenges, and it's the only award that actually includes that support towards conferences. But in addition to that, the range is on this screen, as you see: tuition, books, transport, etc. And it's funded by this generous group of alumni who were former residents of the Freedom Hall. So we want to thank them for that as well. From time to time, we have other awards, so we work very closely with faculty to see how we can procure support. And so over the last couple of years, we have been working with the School of Dentistry, and they, together with their agencies, would have provided dental kits to eligible students. We do the eligibility assessment for those dentistry kits, whether in part or in full. We also have the Department of Clinical Surgical Sciences through the Faculty of Medical Sciences. They recognize a deep need experienced by their 4th and 5th year students. And so Dr. Ravi Maraj, the head of this department, he established a grant which we assess and administer for 4th and 5th year medical sciences students. And then finally, food insecurity is something that we are examining on the campus, and we have our UE Feeds program, where we offer to eligible students grocery and personal care vouchers, and as well as food hampers from time to time. And so as I bring it to a close, I just wanted to share with you that there are other opportunities to tap into funding. We have the UE Credit Union Education Loan, and this loan offers preferential interest rates to university UE students. In particular, you have to have a co-maker, a co-applicant. That's someone who is employed who will, of course, take the loan with you. You do not need to, at that time, upon applying, be a member of the credit union. They will assess you, and then they will determine how best to move forward with the loan. Of course, you have loans from other financial institutions, and you have the HELP loan, which is also offered through the Ministry of Education. I know that there will be a segment on this later on in the academic year. So I really want to encourage you as well to explore that HELP loan option. And of course, for those of you who are applying for GATE funding, please ensure that you complete your GATE application fully. Please check your email, check your spam, because sometimes messages from GATE would go into spam. Check your email every day once you've applied for GATE, or every other day, because you have a 14-day window in which to apply for GATE, to respond to any requests that they may have. Otherwise, your GATE application may be cancelled. And finally, we have the UE Fee Pay Plan, which you would hear more about later on, from the student account section of the bursary, but this is another way to help you manage your tuition, the payment of your tuition fees. Finally, you can look out for us in semester 2 as we launch together with, of course, the FYE team, the Managing Your Finances Financial Literacy Workshop. So this is one step here, but in semester 2, we have a 3-part series where we go more in depth into some of what Dr. Lalu would have spoken to you about, and other areas, how to purchase a house, investment, how to invest, etc. as we move into semester 2. It's usually in February and March, so look out for it, okay? This is just an idea of what some of the things we would have done in the last couple of years, and it's always quite useful. And finally, just to look at our team, these are the faces of the Financial Advisory Services Department, and we look forward to welcoming you as you transition into UE life come August 2026. Thank you so much for listening and for your attention.
Thank you so very much, Ms. Smith. And students, you know the drill around here. If you've been here for the last few weeks, you see, I don't even have to say the love is coming through in the chat. So much love to Ms. Smith for sharing. And I'm hoping, students, that you are not only just taking notes, but that you're leaving inspired knowing that joining the UE St. Augustine means that you are going to soon be integrating into our family. We look out for you. And I know that some of you do have questions and concerns. Some of them, you know, you may not feel very comfortable sharing at this particular stage or in a forum like this, but it's why there are different avenues for you to share. But the onus is on you to take that step. All right, so I want to invite Ms. Smith or re-invite Ms. Smith just to join me on screen. Ms. Smith has so much experience, you know, working with students. So Ms. Smith, I want to ask you, from your experience, like what's one of the things that you feel like students, or maybe misconceptions perhaps, that students may often have about reaching out to the Financial Advisory Services team for support or making inquiries? Because, you know, sometimes the information is available online, but for that to translate into action, sometimes there is a disconnect there. So from your experience, what are like some common misconceptions and how can we clear that up for the group of students that is joining us online this morning?
Sure. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Alder. So we're debunking myths right now. And so the first thing I would say is financial aid is available to UE registered students at all levels, in particular the hardship grant. So, you know, there's a reservation because sometimes students, they don't want to apply. They're afraid they're judged. They may be concerned about confidentiality. For males in particular, we have found that they do not want to come into the office and share as openly, but we do have systems in place to, one, ensure that privacy and confidentiality is maintained. You can do your interview online if you wish. I would conduct it, or someone, a representative, would conduct the interview online. And so we just want to assure you that we are here to help. We really want to be able to support you. We don't want you waiting until the end of semester, you know, because you're thinking you wanted to come, but you don't know if you're eligible. Give us a try. Give yourself a chance. Give yourself and take the step to come, reach out to us. For those of you who are applying for scholarships and bursaries, I just want to say, Mr. Alder, that the word scholarship, we have found that is a deterrent. Because our awards are based on financial need, and yes, academic merit, but financial need as a priority. Many of our students are in fact eligible, but they are deterred by the word scholarship. So I just want to say, don't be deterred. Send in your application because the range of criteria is so broad. You may get one with a 2.8 GPA as opposed to somebody with a 3.2 because of the criteria itself.
Thank you so very much for that, Ms. Smith. And students, I'm hoping that you've really been paying attention here, right? And I am seeing some conversation going in the chat. So I know that persons are tuned in. I just want to jump over to the chat to see if I can direct some questions to Ms. Smith before she heads off. A key question here is, what is the best way to connect with the FAS?
Okay, so the best way to connect with us, you can send us an email at financial.advisory@ue.edu. And I'm not sure if someone will put it in the chat. So that's one. Two, we have support sessions every Thursday online, and you can access that via our webpage. There's a tab on the menu bar that says live support. So you can come into a room, chat with us, ask any questions, any clarification. And of course, there's always the good old in-person, face-to-face walk-in session where you can sit and meet and get some advice from us and share any of your concerns. We work in the division, we work collaboratively. So if you come into FAS and we have support mechanisms in place that we see you may need to access outside of our department, we will also route you. So it's good to connect with us in that regard.
So that, Ms. Smith, we have a question. How does it work for students from different countries? I'm guessing that this is one of our regional and international students. How does it work for students from different countries?
So thank you for that question. So scholarships and bursaries are open to all students, both national and regional. There are one or two for international students. We advise the international students to tap into our hardship grant for that type of support. But for regional and nationals, you can definitely tap into our scholarships and bursaries here at St. Augustine, as well as through our headquarters. Many of our regional students actually get support through those scholarships from our headquarters. That's the Institutional Advancement Division. They coordinate those efforts, and their opportunities are also on our webpage, on the Apply Now page to the bottom half of the page.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. And based on a few questions I saw in the chat, I think it might be useful if we can just repeat the dates or the period in which incoming or new students can apply for scholarships and bursaries.
Yes, sure. So incoming students can apply from the 25th of August to the 30th of September. Oh, I saw Khalil Murray just put it in the chat. We have one very avid listener. So 25th of August, 30th, that is your specific period for application.
Wonderful. So first year students or incoming students, August 25th to September 30th, 2026 is a period in which you want to ensure that your application is submitted. So as was mentioned earlier, now is a good time to visit the website, at least read through. Remember in earlier sessions, we spoke about reading for your degree, right? And that is literal. So would be really good to head over to the website, sort of familiarize yourself with what the requirements are so that you can give yourself sufficient time to acquire the necessary documentation. Of course, Ms. Smith mentioned that the importance of documentation. So you want to give yourself sufficient time to acquire that which is required of you so that you can submit your application within that period, August 25th to September 30th of this year. I'm seeing some other questions relative to the GATE program. When would be the best time to apply for GATE? Of course, we are expecting some representatives from GATE to be here at our session on Thursday. But I believe you may want to at least check out TT Connect now because that is part of the process. So do not wait. Initiate that process now would be our advice to you. It would start with acquiring your TT Connect ID as part of the GATE application process. But you also want to be sure to tune in to that session that we have coming in or happening on Thursday of this week, where we will have some representatives from the GATE office. So I'm seeing a question, are scholarships awarded based on a first come, first served basis, which I think would be the final question that we'll take before we thank Ms. Smith. So Ms. Smith, I'll toss that question over to you.
Sure. Thank you. Yes, so Ariel, our scholarships are assessed based on the criteria for award. So it's only at the close of applications that we look at all the data received, all the applications, and then we filter and match for to the specific criteria for award. So it's not on a first come first serve, but I encourage you to apply as soon as the application period opens. Thank you.
Wonderful. So, Ms. Smith, before I let you go, any final words to our incoming group as we seek to wrap this session today?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Alder. I just want to first thank all the students on the call for choosing the UWI. We know you had many choices, particularly those who may have had scholarship opportunities to go abroad, but you are here with us. You will not regret this decision. This particular FYE program is designed very intentionally to help you transition into UE life, and it will run for the entirety of the first year. We are here to support even beyond these sessions. I really want to encourage you to tap into all the student support opportunities that are available to you through our department and wider through the Division of Student Services and Development. I thank you, and I look forward to meeting at least some of you in August, September.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much, Ms. Smith, and for being here, for sharing. And of course, we are showing some love to Ms. Smith in the chat. All right. So I want to toss over to Ms. Megan Supdio. Megan, I want to invite you into the conversation at this time as we seek to progress and wrap up today's conversation.
Thank you, Mr. Alder, and thank you, Mrs. Christy Smith from FAS over at the DSST for sharing these valuable opportunities. Pelicans, we hope that you've learned that there are several avenues available to help you ease the financial demands that come with university life. Now it's time for another smart reflection. We'd like to hear how you're feeling after learning about these opportunities, right? I would like for you to tell us, how do you feel after learning about scholarships and bursaries? Please respond using one word only. And also, when you're finished, you can put it in the chat as well, along with your full name for an opportunity to win a prize. Our Smart Reflections come with prizes. Excellent. It's great to see your responses coming in. Remember, knowing that support is available is the first step towards making the most of these opportunities. So whether you're feeling hopeful, motivated, relieved, or inspired, these opportunities exist to help you focus on your studies and achieve your goals, what you came for, what you set out to achieve here at the UE St. Augustine. So if you have seen a scholarship or bursary that you are interested in, be sure to check out the eligibility criteria when it becomes available, and beware of the application deadlines, and sign up early, apply early, right? Preparation makes all the difference. Preparation. Yes. Excellent. I'm seeing you're excited, relieved, confident, redeemed. A little overwhelmed, that's okay, but we are here at the DSST. We are here to support you and be there every step of the way with you. So do not worry. You can send us an email, send us a WhatsApp, and we will try to assist you as best as we can. All right, and I'm seeing the chat is really lively as well. So thank you very much for that.
I just want to reinforce the First Gen program and just ask the team to cue the media that we have so that we can just remind persons about the deadline as well to register. I'm not sure that we've communicated the date, but if it is that we can place that in the chat, and if it is that we can just play that very short ad that we have before we wrap up. So over to you, team.
Are you the first in your family to attend university?
The First Gen Star program is right for you.
This program is a mentor-mentee program that pairs our senior students with our new incoming Pelicans to help you with all you need to know about university and campus life.
Navigating around campus, scheduling, study tips, and so much more. This program is designed to help you.
Are you interested? Be sure to stay updated and check your emails for when we send you the registration link so that we can see you there.
Bye!
If you're a first-generation student, first in your family to attend university, we're inviting you to be part of this peer mentorship program. I will give you an opportunity to be paired with a mentor, a current student who will work with you and provide you with support in the very first few weeks as you prepare for this incredible journey at the UWI St. Augustine campus. So students, I'm hoping that you are okay. Hoping that Smart Start has really been helpful to you. Again, we really just want to ensure that you are well informed and well prepared and confident enough to navigate this university journey. So we're equipping you here with the information that you need so that you can take the actions that you need to take to integrate and get settled and become successful in your first year with us at the UWI St. Augustine and beyond. So I just want to reference our draft academic calendar very quickly and again, just remind you of some important dates. So the semester is officially expected to commence on the 23rd of August. So that's a date that you want to take note of. August 23rd is meant to be the date that the semester will officially begin. Registration, which is online registration, we spoke about that last week, that is expected to commence on the 17th of August. So it means that you should be prepared, not necessarily to register on that day, but to take note of when registration is expected to start. All right, so registration will run from August 17th, 2026 to September 4th, 2026. So it means that between August 17th and September 4th, you should go through the registration process, which will include attending your academic advising session, paying all of your fees, etc. All right, so August 17th to September 4th would be the registration period that you want to take note of. All right, teaching is expected to begin on the 1st of September. So I know some of you may have some questions about that as well. So September 1st is expected to be the very first day of teaching. So again, we want you to take note of those things. All right, so I'm hoping that those dates have proved useful as you continue your planning. And I want to say that we have come to the end of our program today and our third session of Smart Start. Yes, we are halfway there. We trust that the information shared with you was useful and that the experience has once again helped with your confidence as you prepare to start out your new semester with us here on campus in just a few weeks. Remember, this is session 3 of 6. So we look forward to seeing you this Thursday, July 16th, for our fourth session where we will discuss fees and the payment process. So today we spoke about finances, we spoke about the opportunities, we spoke about budgeting. But this Thursday we'll be delving now into fees, the actual fees that you'll be required to pay as a student, the process that you'll be required to go through to pay those fees. All right. So you definitely want to be part of that important session. And if it is that you know persons starting their first year also, you want to encourage them to be part of that session. As usual, we'll send the invitation via email. You would have already received an email with the link for that session on Thursday. All right. So again, you want to ensure that you are here for that session that starts at 1 p.m. We are also expecting guests from the Funding and Grants Administration Division at that session within the Ministry of Tertiary Education and Skills Training. And they will be here to discuss matters relative to the GATE program. So we did note some questions earlier in the chat about GATE. When is a good time to apply? We are encouraging you to initiate that process as of now. But definitely, if you are going to be accessing GATE and you want to get some more information on the GATE program, you want to be here for that session on Thursday. All right, so we encourage you, as always, to stay tuned to your emails for your invite and information on all other upcoming orientation events and initiatives. By now, you should have already visited our FYE website and checking out our FYE calendar of events. We encourage you, of course, to stay connected with us on our social media platforms, including Instagram and our FYE YouTube channel. If you're not yet following our campus's WhatsApp channel, now is a good time to do so as well as our campus's Instagram page. All right. A recording of today's session would be made available soon on our FYE YouTube channel. My team and I would like to thank our guests, Dr. Lalu and Ms. Smith, who you heard from earlier. So from all of us here today at the UWI St. Augustine campus, and I must also mention our colleagues at the Marketing and Communications Office who would always provide support in the background. From all of us here at the UWI St. Augustine, we want to say thank you for joining today, students. We look forward to seeing you for Smart Start Session 4. Thank you, everyone, and have a great rest of the day.
Hey Pelicans, thanks for watching.
Make sure you like,
Subscribe,
follow,
and share.